Nobody warns you about this one. We talk about the obvious sins, anger, lust, greed, but there's a quieter one that walks straight through the front door of the church every single Sunday, and almost nobody names it. Busyness. Not laziness, the opposite. And it might be the very thing standing between you and the peace you keep praying for. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Busyness doesn't feel like sin. It feels like virtue. It feels like discipline, responsibility, even godliness. You're not out partying. You're not neglecting your family. You're just full. Every hour accounted for, every minute earning its keep. But somewhere underneath all that motion, your soul is quietly starving, and you haven't even noticed, because busyness is the one sin that disguises itself as productivity. Think about the story in Luke chapter 10. Jesus is a guest in the home of two sisters, Martha and Mary. Martha is doing everything right by every visible standard. She's cooking, cleaning, hosting, serving the Lord himself with her own two hands. Mary, meanwhile, is sitting on the floor at Jesus' feet, doing what looks like nothing, just listening. And when Martha finally snaps, exhausted and resentful, asking Jesus to make her sister help, Jesus doesn't correct Mary, he corrects Martha. He says, "Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things, but one thing is necessary. Mary has chosen the good portion, which will not be taken away from her." Notice what Jesus doesn't say. He doesn't say Martha's work was wrong. Serving wasn't the problem. The problem was what her serving cost her. She traded presence for productivity. She was so busy doing things for Jesus that she stopped being with Jesus. And that's the trap. Busyness isn't always doing bad things. Most of the time, it's about doing good things in a way that quietly crowds out the one thing that actually matters. Here's why this deserves to be called a sin, and not just a scheduling problem. Sin, at its root, isn't only breaking a rule. It's misplaced trust. It's putting your confidence somewhere other than God. And busyness is one of the sneakiest ways we do that. Every time you feel your calendar so full there's no space left to sit still, you're quietly saying, "I don't trust that slowing down is safe. I don't trust that God can hold things together if I'm not constantly holding them myself." Busyness becomes a form of control dressed up as responsibility. And it costs you more than you realize. First, it costs you your peace. Philippians 4:6 says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God." Notice the phrase "in everything," not in your free time, not when your schedule finally clears. In everything, meaning constant motion was never meant to replace constant connection. But busyness convinces you that peace is something you'll get to later, after this project, after this season, after this deadline. Later never comes, because busyness always finds a new reason to keep running. Second, it costs you your discernment. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness isn't wasted time. It's the posture where clarity actually happens. When your life never stops moving, you lose the ability to hear anything quietly. You start making decisions from exhaustion instead of wisdom, reacting instead of listening. Busyness doesn't just steal your peace, it steals your ability to even recognize what peace would sound like. Third, it costs you real connection with God and with people. You can be in a room full of people you love, physically present, mentally somewhere else, already thinking about the next task on your list. Busyness makes you a body in the room and a ghost everywhere else. Mary chose presence, Martha chose productivity, and Jesus made it clear which one actually satisfies. So how do you actually fight this, practically, starting today? First, name it honestly. Stop calling busyness discipline if it's actually avoidance. Ask yourself, am I this busy because it's necessary, or because stillness makes me uncomfortable? That one honest question exposes more than most people want to admit. Second, build in sacred inefficiency. Deliberately do things that produce nothing measurable. Sit in silence for 5 minutes with no agenda. Read a psalm slowly instead of skimming it for application. Have a conversation with no purpose except connection. The world will tell you this is wasted time. Scripture calls it the good portion. Third, guard one unhurried moment with God every single day and protect it like an appointment you cannot cancel. Not a rushed prayer while multitasking, an actual pause where your only job is to sit at his feet like Mary did, with nothing else demanding your attention. Here's the truth this whole message is built on. God is not impressed by how full your calendar is. He's not keeping score of your busyness. He's inviting you, the same way he invited Martha, to put down the plate for a minute and just sit down. Because the fruit you're chasing through all that hustle, the peace, the clarity, the closeness, it was never at the end of your to-do list. It was available the whole time, sitting quietly at his feet. If this spoke to you, drop "choosing the good" portion in the comments below. If you know someone drowning in busyness right now, someone who needs permission to slow down, send this to them. And if you want more truths like this, subscribe to Spirit the Jesus. Let's stop running and start sitting at his feet. I'll see you in the next one.